Okay, so this is Oscar Garcia Pañella. I'm here to talk about games and gamification in time, and I do believe that we could spend like one entire semester with a history of video games and games course, but we basically have some minutes, so I'll try to go directly to the point and to provide with some examples that might be relevant and just differently, let's say. So, okay, let me go directly to my first slide. And let's talk about games gamification and the origins games. So I think that we can find tons and tons and tons of examples. We know that a lot happened with Atari, Activision, Pong, the Magnavox Odyssey in terms of video games. If we go like 4 years before, we know that human mankind has been playing all sorts of games, handmade games with stones, with bones for like centuries. But I want to use a different approach here, and I just wanted to present a couple of cool examples. So first example, we have it on the left side of the slide. It says the Gottlieb's newest big hit, the Broker's Tip, which is like, it's like pure hardware based. We don't think that there's a lot of software here. Might be like, I don't know, 150 years ago. So this is a cool machine. Very close, very similar to what we all know as a pinball machine, right? One of these arcade machines that we've had here, for like more than 150 years. I believe the first pinball machines would come in 1832, so that's a long time ago, and I guess that you are familiar with that, right? Like pam, 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 pam. You have the ball. You can basically make the ball collide with lots of cool shapes and graphics, and you have a lot of sounds, and you collect points. And there's a ranking, of course, and we still see some of these machines, right? And we can even play pinball in, let's say, digital mode, like software programs. So we have like pinballs in our smartphones and tablets and so. So I believe that this is a very cool, example. And then let's go to the right side. We have Sensorama here. This is a virtual reality experience. I believe that it was produced along, mid-50s of the last century, so maybe, 70 years ago. So prior to video games, we have this virtual reality machine where they try to feed all the senses as much as they can. So you're basically living a memorable experience because you get immersed by riding a bicycle through Manhattan, New York, and you have like 3D, you have like white vision, you have like motion color, you have stereo sound, and you even have like aromas and wine that you can feel in your face, and it would vibrate. So imagine it's a complete LBE installation. Let's say LBE stands for location-based entertainment installation, and that was happening 70 years ago. So I wanted to use these two examples because sometimes we believe that a lot of technological innovations and inventions have been produced during the past 10 years, and it is true sometimes, but a lot has been happening lately. And I wanted to talk about Sensorama because it's a virtual reality experience, and I do believe that video games are, let's say, a category inside virtual reality, and games, even board games, even card games, inside a transmedia framework where things happen in different platforms. I believe that can be understood as virtual reality experience pieces. Okay, so let's go on and talk a little bit more about the origins and gamification. Well, I believe that we've been let's say, gamifying for ages, and I will talk a little bit about that in like a couple of minutes, but I just wanted to give a couple of references. Here at the left side of the slide, you have a link. So we have like Nick Pelling in 2003 that seems that sort of used the term, let's say, publicly speaking for the first time. And we also have this reference regarding 2005 with the web and about Punchbowl, which is one of the big American companies that we all know and that we want to mirror at. So let's go to the right side, and we have two logos here, which is the Olympic Games and LFP, that stands for Liga de Fútbol Profesional. So I'm basically talking about the professional soccer league in Spain, and about the Olympic Games. So Olympic Games are of course about challenge, are of course about discovery of hidden talent, are of course about the power of self-expression, are about community and belonging, and the sense that you can be social, are about feeding the senses. See that we are talking about pleasures. I was using one of the metrics here, like the list of Leblanc's pleasures, and we can mark a lot of these pleasures, which at the end are human motivators and things that we like to do as human beings, into these two activities. And at the same time, we of course have points and have badges and leaderboards, and we can compare and compete and so on. So we have a little bit of everything. So we have a pleasure, which is basic in terms of game design, and we have some tools that we can use, some metrics, some indicators that we can use to compare individuals. And Olympic Games have been running in the planet since the ancient Greece. So we are talking about a long time ago. Okay, I go on. Now I'm on my fourth slide. So we'll talk a little bit about games in history. And I just want to provide with a different example. So let me talk about the past 40 years, and let me talk about, interactive cinema, graphical adventures, let's say non-linear storytelling books. So everything began like 40 years ago with Richard Bartle. He's one of the brightest game designers in the world, and he's the author of the player types, so we can segment our users as players thanks to Richard's work. And he also coined the term MUD, which stands for multi-user dungeon, which is the black image that you can see at the left of the slide. So this is a game, everything is text, no graphics, and you basically write and decide and take decisions. And it was so cool because the script, the storytelling was so intense that you would imagine everything. It's like a role-playing game where you are playing with, like paper and pencil. So let's go to the second reference, which is The Cave of Time. You can see that this is a Choose Your Own Adventure book. These books, you can still buy them, and it is a very cool way to present reading to your kids, because it's a non-linear storytelling book. I mean, you basically select what you want to happen, what you want to do. So you are the main character, and sometimes you are asked, do you want to hide? Okay, go to page 16. Do you want to fight the dragon? Okay, go to page 42. So it is very cool, because for me, it's it's basically about taking interesting decisions, as Sid Meier's would say, and feeling as a player, because I have autonomy and control. So it's a game made of paper. And let me go to the third one, because I think that this is sort of an evolution. So we have MUD, we have like the paper video games, and then we have this third reference on the right, which is the pure fusion of cinema and games, video games, which is Beyond Two Souls. This game was released by Quantic Dream. It's just amazing. It has true actors on it that have been motion captured. So we have like Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe. And it's cinema, and it's interactive because I can decide. So it's like the mood of the new millennium. So I just wanted to provide with this very concrete example that shows a little bit of the evolution of this very specific sort of experience during the past 40 years. Okay, so I change my slide and I go to not a new discipline. Well, I don't think that we are talking about a new discipline. I don't think that it's ours. It's something that belongs to humanity. I mean, we are inventing nothing. It's about game elements. It's about mechanics, missions, activities. It's about dynamics, human motivators. That thing was already there. But what we are trying to do with this, gamification discipline is like to add a scientific layer. So, research, trying to find some funding in order to perform this research, build research groups that sort of measure and find the metrics and the indicators that we need to sort of demonstrate what we know, which is that, it works, right? So we're talking about pure consultancy. We are talking about great effort. And if I have to mention like the 4 axes that the, great Jesse Shell uses when he's talking about, balancing the experience and everything that you should take into account to build a game, so to build a memorable experience, I mean, it's really multidisciplinary. I mean, it's about art, it's about technology, and it's not only about technology. This is, a 25% of the entire cake. It's about storytelling and game elements, so it's really complex. That's why I say that, it's close to building a rocket that has to go to Mars if you really want it, to function as it should. Okay, so let me mention just a couple of quick examples. So first example, well, we have the spoon here. I mean, I don't want to mention like the classical gamification examples because you can find tons of them in literature and in some very cool and well-known posts. So I just wanted to use some different examples. So first one is the spoon, and I put the spoon here because when you have kids, you want them to eat, you want them to sleep. It's late, they have school tomorrow, and you want them to eat, and they don't want to eat. So what is it that we've been doing for ages everywhere? It's like taking the spoon. Okay, this spoon, this is a plane. Okay, so this plane is gonna fly, and I'm gonna tell you this very cool story, and this plane will end up in your mouth. Okay, and we all parents do that, right? All parents in the world do that with kids. And it's by instinct. It's like, let's play a little bit to persuade the kid, because we want him or her to eat by, himself or herself, right? So it's about, not convincing anyone, but deciding by yourself. I want you to see that it can be fun. I want you to see that it's, useful. Okay, let me jump to the next slide. And I have 2 examples here. These photographs that you see here, I took them. So these are my own photographies, my own images. So first example, 2 tiny examples. First example, if you go to the left side, okay, we have this button here that says click. Okay, this is a real button. This is a real image of the door at the Ubisoft office here in Barcelona. So Ubisoft is a giant video game studio, and when you go and you want to meet them, you're gonna find that. So just before entering the office, they produce a big smile in your face, because when you go and do click because you want someone to open the door, you just smile because you're playing a little bit of Pac-Man here. So even tiny things can be enriched, if, let's say, gamified. And I know that this is a very, very tiny example. And then let's go to the, I was at the left side, let's go to the right side. So this is a Doritos, these are snacks. This is a bag of Doritos. I was having a donut and a coffee, and I see this, and I read here, and I know that it's in Spanish, but I can translate for you all. It says something like, okay, you can decide if you want this flavor to stay or to be destroyed. So go to this webpage and let us know if you like the snacks. And depending on what you users decide, we will sort of remove this flavor, or we will keep it alive. So autonomy, control, I can decide. Access, I have the access to deciding, they're listening to me, I have visibility. And then it also says, okay, and if you do so, you can, win 20,000 euros and 1% of the entire sales of the product. Okay, so they are also offering a price. But we have both, right? We have like the keys, the invitation to share, to participate, and we also have the price. We have both, which is an interesting balance that I found in just, a regular bar somewhere. Okay, so I'm close to finish. Final wrap up. I just wanted to say that, games have been here since this planet started, because, even animals, creatures play. Games are powerful. We all know that, because these feed, human motivators that we need to survive, we need to be happy, and therefore games accomplish with very serious goals. and games work. So I truly think that, we need to game design, and we need to put, the game design discipline where it has to be, because it's really scientific, rigorous, and complex, and never forgetting about creativity. We need to use the game design discipline and learn about that, and never forgetting about, indicators, tracking the user metrics, validation, scientific, and of course human pleasure. And I must say that, good game designers, already know that. So it definitely works. Okay, well, I think that, that was my little dissertation for this topic, regarding, games gamification in time a little bit. I hope that you liked it, and hope to see you around. Have fun.